Welcome back. Now that you've seen our nighttime display, let me take you on a daytime tour to see some of the more interesting aspects of our 2024 display here at Boddy Creek Manor, starting with our Camp Crystal Lake scene. Now this scene was developed primarily because we have this 5-car parking pad here next to the street that I always have to do something with. And usually we have to incorporate our cars so that they're not in the main display. This year, I'm using this to my advantage, using our camper van here to make Camp Crystal Lake. I made this sign, I hand painted it using blacklight paint so it showcases it at night under blacklight. It glows pretty nice. But what's going on here in the scene is here, as evidenced by our single pink camping chair, we have a lady camping alone and met her demise by the evil Jason Voorhees. All right, I've strategically angled the van so that the main portion of the display is facing the driveway entrance, where the haunt actually begins. The back half sort of blocks the car parking lot and the rest of the yard, which I'm not doing much with this year. Now, when the sun hits it just right, as the cars are coming down the roadway here, you're gonna see Jason Voorhees in the back window. That way he always has a presence here, because during the daylight hours, you're not gonna see him projected on some scrim inside the van where it has a nice three-dimensional, really cool look effect. It's too bright out to see him during the day. So he always has a creepy presence here. Now, before we go down the main display, I just wanted to point out a couple of the pieces in the yard itself, which you're going to see if you were driving down in front of the house, with my Happy Haunting sign. Of course, my YouTube channel is Happy Haunting, so I really love this little sign. It just adds a little bit of my YouTube channel to the display. Now, in the back, over the koi pond, on the bridge, we have a headless horseman with his zombie horse. And that's kind of a nod to the Sleepy Hollow story, where the headless horseman and Ichabod Crane meet on the bridge to Sleepy Hollow. One year I'm going to do a full Sleepy Hollow theme. And I know you can't see it, but in the window upstairs of the house, we also have a palm reader sign that blinks at night and a little skeleton in the window, and that's kind of a nod to the inside display. If you haven't watched my inside tour, it changes every year. You're going to check it out this year because I think it is one of the best. But let's go ahead and check out the main display. Every year I have to find a place to put my pumpkin army, and this year it is at the end of the driveway as we greet the trick-or-treaters coming into the display. We have our 12-foot menacing pumpkin reaper that is, I think, a show-stopping piece greeting people coming down the street. We've got our light-up pumpkins on the stakes, and our new guy over here this year, we have our Party City Groundbreaker pumpkin. He's 4 feet tall, new this year. Looks like he's popping out of the ground. We've got a black light shining on him to give him a nice glow effect at night. And he's oriented down the driveway so that despite which way you're going, up or down the driveway, you're going to get part of the display to look at. Trick-or-treaters are going to pass through a double set of pumpkin archways, in between which we have our pumpkin patch prowler from Spirit. He, unfortunately, has just decided to stop working today. So this is meant to be one of the final scares as people are coming out of the display, hidden between these two pumpkin archways. You have your evil demon pumpkin patch prowler, which I can't blame him. I mean, I've had him in my display for many years. He was a workhorse. I'm really sad he stopped working. He was a really good prop. But maybe if we shine like a strobe light on him, he'll still look pretty creepy. Let's take a look at the other pumpkin archway. So this is what you're going to see as you walk up the driveway and are exiting the display. We have a Grim Reaper off here to the side, indicating your demise because you have been eaten by the pumpkin army. This, by the way, is our Reaper this year. Normally, I had a 6-foot Reaper that I had from CVS for many years at the end of my display. This time we got the Home Depot floating Reaper, and he is amazing. Look how cool this glow is. He speaks and he moves a little bit, and I think he is super creepy, and that is exactly what you're going to see as you make your way back up the driveway before you're eaten by the pumpkin. On the other side of the Reaper, we have my flying crank ghost in this little mausoleum that I built. It's one of the first things I ever built for my display, 10, 12 years ago, and I finally got around to giving her new cheesecloth covering this year. She was getting pretty ragged, but I love the way she looks. It's a nice kinetic look, keeps it interesting in the display. But I've been talking about this main display for so long, let's take a look down the driveway and see what that is. It's Ghostbusters. Now, we did do a Ghostbusters display in 2020 during the pandemic. There was a small display up on that parking pad we saw, and hardly anybody saw it. So I'm excited to bring it back in more of its full glory. A little bit different than what we did that year, but some of the same effects. We have our inflatable Ecto-1, which I absolutely love. I traded an inflatable for this guy. We had a spider archway inflatable one year, and I traded him for my Ecto-1. It goes great with our Ghostbuster here, who's battling our 12-foot ghost that I picked up on Facebook Marketplace this year. It was brand new in the box, but I'm a little disappointed that part of the internal wiring is broken, so you can't really tell, especially at night with all the lights going on it. But he's a little defective, and I'm disappointed, but at least I got a deal on him. Here we've strung up some lights that are going to my Ghostbuster, which is my zombie animatronic figure in a Ghostbuster outfit. So again, when you're coming up the driveway, you've got more stuff to look at. It's that creepy zombie face, which I think is fantastic. I know some people don't like inflatable displays, but I think they work great, especially when they are ghosts, because they just make perfect ghost forms. I've got 9 inflatable ghosts around the display. We also have 6 sheet ghosts hiding amongst the inflatables. They're so simple to make. It was a pumpkin pail on top of a stake with a candle inside of it, and then I just used a couple of Dollar Tree tablecloths, so plastic tablecloths, tie it with some fishing line, and I think they look great because they blow a little bit in the wind, and it looks like a typical standard sheet ghost for Halloween, and it's just so classic. I love it. What would a good Ghostbusters scene be without the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man and Slimer? I talk a lot about the props I built years and years ago still coming into my display, and that's because I always like to keep reusing them in new and different ways. This year, I brought back my fencing, which I do almost every year, but I left off the columns that I built. So this way, it looks like I've got this real dilapidated looking fence inside of an old time cemetery that's all falling apart. Got a couple of new creepy tombstones added to them this year. We have our ghostly bride haunting the cemetery this year. Now, personally, I like the idea of the decrepit cemetery with just the tombstones, but I needed to do something just to plus it a little bit. You know, some years we'll put in the grave diggers, the coffins or whatnot. Kind of like the idea of just one simple wailing ghostly bride, but you know, the trick-or-treaters want more. So I even added a couple of zombies. I thought about doing all zombies coming out, maybe a little story where they have this new ghostly bride who has joined their cemetery and now they're all fighting for her affections. But we'll save that story for maybe next year. This year, we're keeping it simple. Because we host the neighborhood Halloween party, we have to have a place for people to gather, and that's here in our pirate zone. You can see a lot of little details all surrounding us, starting with the tables where people might sit and gather. Each table is decorated in a pirate theme, starting with our wanted posters of various pirates. We've got the fishnet base, a silver tray with a tiny little treasure chest on it with some snacks, an unfortunate pirate skull. We've got a candle with a pumpkin on it, which kind of brings in our giant pumpkin behind us. And then, of course, some treasure. We've got gold coins and jewels, which the pirates are all after. Let's take a look at the pirates. Here we have our sinking pirate ship from Home Depot. I've had him in my display for several years, many different locations, usually somewhere by the koi ponds. I've even had him in the koi ponds, but he's in front of the treasure map. I had this for when we did a pirate theme here on the driveway once before, but that year it rained heavily. We had to put up tents everywhere. Nobody saw any of my fun displays, so I'm excited to finally bring them back this year amongst some of the other decor. We have our pirate captain in front of his pirate ship. This is just a backdrop that actually was in the garage that year that I did the pirates. I just brought him out here just to give, kind of like this, the map on the other side, it's just the essence of the pirate theme, not necessarily a full-on realistic display. We also have our Beware of Pirates sign, and up on the balcony, a pirate fishing. That's a bit of foreshadowing as to what's going on in the garage. But first we have a couple more pirates to see over here. The pirates certainly like their drink. We've got pirate on a barrel here. This guy's keeping a lookout so that the captain doesn't come and see them. And over here we have our drinking pirate with the endlessly flowing zombie brew. Inside the garage is where the party food is kept. Oftentimes the little kids that are here are too scared to go inside. Do I care? No, I don't. We made it extra scary this year. Let's go on in. The story here is we have the pirates on the outside with their pirate ship, and now it is sunk and we are underwater. We have our Lowe's diver this year with our Kraken. As soon as I saw these online this year, I knew I had to have them. He is just so cool. We have our tapestry here depicting our sunken ship. You can tell we're underwater because we have skeleton fish hanging from the ceiling, and we have the blue swirling lights all around the room indicating the water. Let's take a closer look at what I've done with the centerpieces in here. We have more octopus-themed candle holders on a platter of blue water-like marbles and a little skeleton mermaid. That's not the only mermaid we have in the scene. We also have our larger mermaid here by the dessert area. She is feasting on the head of a pirate, one of the sunken ship victims. Guarding our buffet table, which is conveniently covered with water-themed tablecloths, we have our blacklight reflective banner showcasing this awesome design of a skull-headed octopus. Perfect for our underwater lair. And our blue lights that shimmer on it actually kind of makes it look like it's moving just a little bit. Super creepy. And when we tie it all together, I think we have an amazing underwater lair. I was really worried that this was going to be the letdown room of the entire display, and instead it has turned into my favorite room. Here we end our tour back on the driveway under the watchful gaze of our 26-foot tall inflatable pumpkin. He makes an amazing backdrop to any Halloween display. There we have it, Boddy Creek Manor 2024. I want to thank you for coming on this tour with me. If you're interested in seeing the inside of the house, I'll put a link to that in the description below, but also we have a playlist showcasing all of our walkthroughs inside and out from all the years. And again, we change it up, so I'm sure there's going to be something there that you're going to want to see. Before we go, I did want to say a special thank you to all the patrons who help support the channel. If you're interested in joining our Fright Club, be sure to check out a link to my Patreon page in the description below. That's going to do it for today. Thanks for watching, everyone. Until next time, take care and happy haunting.